So today, we're settling this properly. If you have around ₦500,000 to spend on a smartphone, do you go for the Infinix Note 60 Pro and save some money, or do you stretch it and buy the Samsung Galaxy A56? Because on paper, these two look dangerously close, but in real life, they feel very different. And I know how this usually goes. Someone will say, just buy Samsung, it's safer. Another person will say, we are paying extra for the brand name. So let's break this down properly so you can decide where your money should actually go. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one suits you. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. So let's start with the design, because that's the first thing that you notice before you unlock these devices. The Infinix Note 60 Pro is solid. It has a glass front, glass back, aluminum alloy frame, and yes, it clearly takes inspiration from the iPhone 17 Pro Max, especially in that solar orange color. Mine is the mist titanium, which looks mature and clean. It feels solid in the hand, slightly heavier at 202 grams, and it carries that weight because of the 6500 mAh battery inside. That's actually impressive at this price. Now the Samsung Galaxy A56 feels more refined and classy. Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and back, aluminum frame, slimmer at 7.4 millimeters, slightly lighter at 198 grams, and it feels polished. The olive color I have here is actually beautiful, very classy. But the back is a fingerprint magnet, so be ready to wipe it down or just use a case with this one. Samsung gives you IP67, but design-wise, Infinix feels solid and maybe experimental. Samsung feels more mature and premium. It all depends on the vibe you prefer. But feature-wise, Infinix is fun. You get the active matrix display at the back. You can actually customize it and even play games on it. You get wireless charging on here, which Samsung doesn't give you on the A56. Did I mention you get the heart rate monitor below the power button and a one-tap button up left? A little more physical additions than Samsung. From the displays, things start getting interesting. The Infinix gives you a 6.8-inch AMOLED display with a 144Hz refresh rate and a crazy 4500 nits peak brightness rating. Resolution is sharper too on the Infinix, about 480 ppi, and yes, you can actually feel the 144Hz smoothness when scrolling. It might not feel a lot different from 120Hz, but it's there. The Galaxy A56 gives you a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, 120Hz with a measured brightness around 1200 nits in real use. Peak brightness is around 1900 nits. Not as crazy on paper as the Infinix, but Samsung's panel tuning is very good. Colors pop more, and there's just this Samsung punch to it. If I'm to pick, the skin tones feel and look better on the Samsung, but the Infinix's display is brighter and has a higher refresh rate. Inside the Infinix Note 60 Pro, you're getting the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4. Inside the Samsung is the Exynos 1580 chipset. In real life use, both are smooth, social media, multitasking, gaming, they all handle them comfortably. And Samsung is actually the better of the two in performance. But as most people know, the Snapdragon processors are better tuned, especially for thermal management. But like I said, performance, speed are all better with the Samsung's processor. It's simply better. Samsung also flexes when it comes to software. The Galaxy A56 comes with Android 15 and One UI 7 out of the box, and Samsung is promising 6 years of major Android upgrades, and I already upgraded my device to Android 16 and One UI 8 on this A56. This means I still get about 5 years of updates in the future for the Samsung. The Infinix Note 60 Pro comes with Android 16 and XOS 16 with 3 years of major upgrades and 5 years of security patches. That means you get about Android 19 with the Infinix Note 60 Pro. So if long-term support is something you consider, Samsung wins easily. Even though XOS has been refined and looks more like iOS, I prefer the Android skin from Samsung. Samsung gives you polished and mature software and stability too. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you're new here. That totally helps us a bunch. Thank you. Alright, so let's talk about the cameras properly, because this is where most people care the most. While the Galaxy A56 has a 12 megapixel front-facing camera, the Infinix gives you a 13 megapixel front-facing camera. Detail-wise, the Samsung retains more detail. You can see it in the fabric and facial lines. Skin tone is interesting though. Even though the A56 often gets shirt colors closer to real life, sometimes the Infinix actually gives you truer to life skin tones. Not always, but enough to notice. Samsung usually wins slightly overall in selfie consistency, but it's not a landslide. When it comes to portrait selfies, I was genuinely impressed with the Infinix. Subject separation is excellent. I can't fault it against the Samsung here. For the front-facing videos, both shoot at 4K 30fps. Dynamic range is similar, Honestly, I'd rate them about the same. The only thing is Samsung applies less smoothing to the faces. Infinix still sneaks in a little softening even when you turn off beauty mode. When it comes to audio from the front-facing camera videos, the Samsung sounds richer. Now, the main camera surprised me. For human subjects, they are very close. I mean very, very close. Samsung retains more detail overall. You can zoom in and see it. There are also times when the A56 nailed focus more consistently. With the Infinix, there's this tiny moment sometimes where it feels like focus slightly shifts or softens. And yes, even with beauty mode turned off, Infinix still looks like it's applying some light smoothing in certain shots. When it comes to the portrait mode on the rear cameras for these devices, Infinix outdid themselves. The separation and depth rendering is very impressive. For regular photos, I prefer Samsung. The skies are more vibrant, blues pop more, Infinix sometimes looks more natural. Neither is miles ahead, but the Samsung is the device I'll pick. When it comes to ultra-wide photos, Samsung wins here. The Galaxy A56 has a wider field of view, better white balance consistency, more vibrant skies, similar to what you get from the main camera. This isn't really consistent with the main camera. The Infinix's ultra-wide isn't bad at all, but after several tests, I kept preferring Samsung's output. For the zooms, both smartphones crop into their main sensors. But here's something interesting. At 2x and even 4x, Infinix retained more detail, and that genuinely surprised me. The colors between them can look very different, almost like two separate phones entirely. But detail retention at zoom levels, Infinix did better. For the rear videos, both shoot 4K at 30 FPS. But I preferred Samsung's rear video for two reasons: better stabilization and better shadow detail. It just looked more stable and more controlled. Infinix again applies slight smoothing in some cases. However, this is very important. The microphone from the rear camera sounded better on the Infinix than the Samsung. But generally, I'd go with the camera system on the Samsung Galaxy A56. If you want to buy one of the devices I've reviewed on this channel, do not forget to go check out celltech.ng to get discounted prices for these devices. You can scan this QR code to check it out, or check the link in the description to go to celltech.ng. Now back to the video. Now let's talk about the battery. The Infinix Note 60 Pro has a 6500 mAh silicon carbon battery, while the Samsung here comes bundled with a 5000 mAh battery. It's not even close. The Infinix lasts longer. Heavy users will appreciate this immediately. For charging, Infinix gives you 90 watts wired charging and 40 watts wireless charging. Wireless at this price is insane. Samsung, on the other hand, gives you a 45 watts wired charging system. No wireless charging, no charger in the box. This category clearly goes to Infinix. At the end of the day, I'd go with the Samsung Galaxy A56 for the cameras overall, better software which might be subjective, longer software support, resale value, and the fact that it costs about 550,000 naira or $385, which isn't far from the 499,900 naira or $350 you get the Infinix for. And you get better battery, a really good camera in comparison, and also the brighter and faster refresh display. For 50,000 naira less, a lot of people might consider the Infinix to be better value for money. Would you go in that direction? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, but personally, I'd still pick the Samsung. Anyway, you can check out my individual reviews on these devices here. I'm gonna catch you in one of those videos. Kawidate.